There it is. Hello, hello, everybody. Bits and bytes, all things consumable. United States edition. What week are we on? Week 13. Oh my God, I don't believe it. 50 states in 50 weeks. Week 13. Where does that bring us? What great state could it possibly be today? It's the great state of Illinois. It's Illinois! 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 Illinois. Hello and welcome to Bits and Bytes. Week 13. The great state of Illinois is on the table. The chopping block, as it were. I sound very strange in my headphones, and I'm not quite sure why. Here's this great flag. Let's take a look. It's actually fairly boring. It's got an eagle that looks like it has some kind of American flag situation in its claws. Questionable. It says National Union State Sovereignty. Sovereignty. I can't talk. And then it has 2 years on it, 1868 and 1818. 1818 is when it became a state, and 1868 is when someone redesigned the flag. And they said, let's just put that on here. That seems very strange, but that's what we did. What do we got here in the books? Illinois. Let's pull up the state facts. Let's see where we're at here. What state are we in? There it is. Fast facts. We got the Prairie State. I honestly did not even know it was called that. I had no clue it was called the Prairie State. Statehood in 1818, I just told you that. The 21st state of the Union. Population 2016, 12 mil plus. Almost 13 milli. Capital Springfield. I didn't know that either. I feel like I should know these things going into this. Biggest city, Chi-Town, Chicago. City with the big shoulders. Abbreviation IL. Ill. We got a state bird of a northern cardinal. Can we see that? Let's see the northern cardinal. Ooh. Look at that little fella. Look at that little guy. I don't know, why do we have state birds? I don't even get it. What's the point? This thing can fly any state it wants. It doesn't. This bird does not even know the hell a state is. We gotta get rid of the state bird bit, I think, guys. I think it's past. I think we lost that in one of the wars. State flower, the violet. What a pretty looking flower. That's great. State flower I could dig on. State flower is acceptable. That's cute. That's a nice background for my computer. That'll work just fine. All right, guys, Illinois. Illinois, as some would say. No one has said that ever. I got some fast facts here, and then we're going to get into it. What do we got? Chi-Town, city with the big shoulders. City doesn't sleep. Nope, it's New York. It's a rough and tumble town. 80% of it is farmland. Did you know 80% of Illinois is farmland? Did you know that? It's not just Chicago. Every time I talked about this all week, Illinois, it just went right to Chicago. I was like, what are you doing this week? Chicago. What week is it? Chicago. I was trying to get out of Chicago. But you can't escape Chicago when you're talking Illinois. Everything goes back to Chicago. It's the biggest city out there, and 80% of the rest of the state is goddamn farmland. There's not much going on out there. But we do have a special guest. Emily from August Hill Winery and Illinois Sparkling Company did an interview with her, and she did enlighten us on a lot of other things that are going on outside of Chicago. And a couple cool little towns that are out there. So I'm stoked to get that interview underway. But Chicago is kind of what I think we want to talk about here out the gate. I mean, how do you not talk Chicago when you're talking Illinois? Like I said, 80% farmland in the whole state, and then the rest is, let's just be honest, it's Chicago. It's a humble state. I realized that Chicago or Illinois, one of the two, claim that Abraham Lincoln is theirs. But apparently he was born in Kentucky. I did not know that. Chicago or Illinois are responsible for saying Abraham Lincoln was born there, and he was not. He was born in Kentucky. They just said, this is what we're doing. Corrupt, as always, Chicago, apparently. Illinois, we could consider the capital of the Midwest. Chicago certainly would be, I would say. Walt Disney born in Chicago. Can't escape Chicago. And that brings us to one of our first bits and bytes here, actually. I don't know why we're referring to the bits and the bytes as multiple bits and bytes. Let's just bring up the food. The first thing I have here is popcorn from a famous, I don't even know if we should say the name of the place, but it's a famous popcorn maker in Chicago. We're based out of Chicago, called Garrett's. They do this thing, let's pull it up. I don't quite know the bit, and I don't know why it's such a big thing, but Garrett Popcorn Shop is big. If you know anyone in Illinois or know anyone who lives in Chicago, and they get you anything for the holidays, this is probably what you're getting your hands on. It's a mix. It's Chicago's gourmet popcorn, but they take pride in having goofy mixes. And I don't know if that's a specific Illinois thing or Chicago thing or a Garrett's thing, but this is definitely a thing. Their own kind of classic mix is cheddar and caramel popcorn mix, and that's what we have here. It's a caramel corn and then cheddar popcorn together. I can't even see it. I got another thing. It's a mix of cheddar and caramel corn. So, tastes like, you know, the Velveeta packet, the powdered packet of cheese on unbuttered popcorn and a Cracker Jack. What the hell? Yeah, it's just popcorn. I mean, I don't know why Chicago wants to say this is... They want to put their name on this. Chicago's very greedy with their food. We're going to start with the popcorn. We're going to keep going with it. But just like Chicago took Abraham Lincoln to be their own erroneously and just kind of went with it, they're doing it with foods. And I didn't even realize this because we shoot from the hip on this show. I don't like it. I don't like that they're appropriating all these goddamn foods. I didn't think about this once. I had a happy note actually going in on a couple of these foods, and now I'm kind of pissed. You know, just take popcorn and throw some crap on it and call it yours, and just say this is yours. It doesn't work that way. It's delicious. Anyone can make popcorn. Anyone can put some crap on it. But this is a thing. The Garrett mix is a thing, and it's generally a mix of kettle corn, like a Cracker Jack with the cheese one. Well, there it is, home of the original Garrett mix. Cool. He really did it. 333 farms growing popcorn on 47,000 acres. They grow all the popcorn. Essentially, this popcorn, it's shit's grown out in Illinois. And those 80% of farmlands. So that's why, you know, maybe they lay claim to the popcorn. Can't stop snacking on it, but it is what it is. So, you know, the popcorn's a thing. But they got a lot of things. Chicago's got a lot of things. We're going to stay hot on Chicago because when we get to the interview, we get outside of Chicago. But let's get to it. When you talk about Chicago, and you talk about the great foods, Chicago's a great food city. Let's be honest. I've been to Chicago. Some of these states I have not been to. Okay? Some of these states I have. I've spent some time in Chicago. Chicago's a great city. They love to eat. They love to party. Some of the most craziest goddamn fireworks I've ever seen in my life. I've seen fireworks across the world. Everywhere from Disneyland to Tokyo. All right, I've seen the big boys. I've seen the fireworks. I've seen the money come out. I've seen the New York City. I've seen them all. No one threw down fireworks on 4th of July like Chicago. That shit was scary. I was on a rooftop, and it was every neighborhood was going off. Big boy fireworks, too. Not like the ones your neighbor's kid put off, you know, randomly in August. And you're like, what the hell is that? And the dog's freaking out. Not those. The big boy ones that require infrastructure. They're lighting them off in the goddamn street at 8 o'clock on all the streets. Felt like goddamn Baghdad when I was there. But it was fantastic. That's how you know they party. Right? And they eat well. There's a lot of great restaurants up there. There's a huge history of big slaughterhouses in Chicago. So the beef is big. They love beef. As do I. So I love to eat in Chicago. I love the Chicago people. I love going to Wrigley Field. It's a great city to walk around in. Chi-town, baby. But what the fuck is that? Pardon my language. But what the fuck are you doing? We're just gonna get right to it. It's not pizza, all right? This is a pornographic shot of pizza that someone paid a lot of money for, and they're calling it Detroit-style pizza. Not Detroit-style, sorry. Heaven forbid. That's respectable. Chicago-style pizza. I'll pull up other pictures to look at if someone dare lay claim that this is not good enough to represent what this monstrosity actually looks like. But let's just talk about it, all right? I'm from New Jersey. New York, New Jersey, born and bred. I know pizza quite well. This is not that. This is some form of pizza cake or a lasagna type cake. A baked lasagna product. Never put this on a plate and tell me this is pizza. Is there cheese involved? Yes. Is there tomato product involved? Yes. Are those core components to pizza? Usually. Does it need to have a 7-foot California King style crust / dough that you need to eat with a knife and fork? No. This is just a baked pastry dish that invokes the concept of pizza. I don't know how we can call this a pizza. That's like saying we can take, I don't even know, a pancake. We love pancakes. And then I just get a big old skillet, make a pancake, and then jam a whole bunch of breakfast sausage and pour some eggs on top and make all of the breakfast items in there. Throw some bacon for good measure. Bake it out, pull it, cut a slice, and go, you love pancakes, right? Yeah, that's a great pancake right there. It's fucking not. Chicago, knock it off. Knock it off. I see you in the chat going off. I'm missing what you're saying. But yes, I think it is uncooked. They have a process behind it, and I've looked into it because I feel like I've done this chat before, but I have looked into it. I know how they make it. Again, is it good? Yeah, this is good. When you're in Chicago, drunk rolling around, and you say, let's do the deep dish, bruh. You go get it. You go to Pequod's. I get it. I had all the good ones. I know Pequod's, Chicago. Don't at me. I was there. It was good. Tasted great. It's just not pizza. It's a different product. It's like, you got your own thing. That's cool, but just keep the pizza out of it. And don't even bring it in the argument of pizza. You know, you want to go to New Haven. You got to talk to my boy Colin up in New Haven. You want to talk about pizza. All right, I didn't finish reading this book yet, but I guarantee you that thing is not in here. All right, he knows. That guy knows pizza. He'll laugh at this. I know him. All right, so that's pizza. I don't really know what else there is to say about it. I don't want to harp on it. It's a big thing. But get the hell out of here with that, Chicago. You stole Abraham Lincoln from Kentucky. They gave you that. They don't even fight you. Kentucky just says, it's fine. It's fine. Let them have it. We got nothing going on here. Now you're trying to take pizza at some point. I'm not having it. No one up here is having it. The East Coast is not having it. We all laugh at you and your pizza cake. So get it the fuck out of here. Pardon the French. Okay, so that's one thing. That's one monstrosity you're trying to take. Again, is it good? Yeah, I'll eat it. You want to go eat one? Let's go. It's just not what I want when I want a slice. Sorry. Beat it. The next thing we should talk about is the Chicago hot dog, which, I mean, less hate here, okay? Less hate should be involved here on the Chicago hot dog. I enjoy a Chicago dog. I like that they kind of created their own thing, all right? So you got Wrigley Field there doing its thing. You know, well, here's, oh, look, this is a nice breakdown here. This is like a poster some animal would buy. This is great. That's exactly what we need. So, how to build a Chicago-style hot dog. This is exactly what we need. Thanks for the free content, whatever this is. Pull it up. Chicago hot dog, for those of you who are not familiar, we'll start at the bottom, begins with a poppy seed bun. It is a hot dog bun that is covered in poppy seeds, which I am not mad at. This is delicious. Is it messy when you pick it up and poppy seeds go everywhere? Yes. Are poppy seed bagels and poppy seed rolls really obnoxious and messy for the sake of being messy and really just an aesthetic? Yes. All beef hot dog. Generally speaking, they use beef hot dogs from Vienna beef. It's a very Chicagoan / Midwest beef manufacturer. It's a very specific hot dog. And in fact, I believe that they call them Red Hots. Oh, that's a different style hot dog out there. It also has yellow mustard, which is fantastic. Everyone loves yellow mustard on a hot dog. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely no ketchup goes on a Chicago dog. If you go to Chicago, I've been there, and you order a hot dog and you try to get it with ketchup, they give you the side eye, they talk shit about you, and I don't even know if they give it to you. We're in a Chicago dog right now, okay? Sweet relish, radioactive green relish. Look at this stuff. Chicago-style relish. I mean, look how green this is. I don't even know if you can tell. It's radioactive green. It's not your normal green. And it, to me, is the huge indicator of the Chicago dog. It lets you know, we in Chicago now. It's radioactive. The relish has been lit. Turn your key, sir. Also, Illinois actually uses the most nuclear power out of any state in the union. Did you know that? Does that have something to do with their nuclear green relish, which tastes just like normal relish, but is made to look nuclear? I don't know. I feel like I would be the person to ask that since I'm doing a show about it, but I don't know. On top of the relish, they put tomato slices. Generally speaking, they're sad pink tomatoes that are hard and not delicious. It's a texture thing. Diced onions right on top of that. A full-ass kosher pickle spear sticks on that bitch. Tops it with sport peppers, which are similar to little finger peppers. They're spicy little boys. They're kind of like jalapenos. They're pretty hot. Imagine like a really hot pepperoncini. It's kind of what's going on here. And then the whole thing gets shook with some celery salt, which is key and clutch. I love a final seasoning of salt on top of the dish. And a celery salt's a good move. That's not it. That's it. That's what it looks like. It's a goddamn hot mess when you eat it. You can't eat just one. I guess you can eat one, but it's just like, it's a thing. It's like a sandwich as opposed to a standard hot dog. Again, the AB, like a pizza, the hot dog in New York to Chicago. New York, I could get a slice and walk around and eat my slice and go on to my next thing because I'm busy and I got shit to do because I'm in New York. I'm in Chicago. It's real windy out. I got to take my time. I'm going to sit and eat a pizza slice. It takes me 45 minutes. If I'm in New York and I'm going to get a hot dog, I'm going to hit the guy in the corner, give him $2, take my hot dog and eat it. By the time I get to the corner, I'm throwing out the napkin. Chicago, I got to order this and sit down at a counter and get to work. They eat hearty up there. It's a cold city a lot of times, and you need to buff up. Some large people up there. Chicago's not the fittest in all the land. We won't get into the statistics, but we have them. We have the logic. We have the science. It's probably because you think pizza is a large pastry product like that. That's probably why you're a little bit hefty. Some of you. Not all of you, some of you. The Chicago hot dog's delicious. Don't let anyone fool you. This is a good product. The hot dog itself is very good. It's very important to have. I'm a big fan. Is the pickle and relish redundant? Yes. But again, it's a texture thing, and I don't know, the times that I've had it, I eat the pickle first, like it's a side, and then I get in there. I'm not trying to take a bite with the pickle on there. That's not how I do. But, Chicago, you did good with the hot dog. You really made it your own. You stepped up your game. And you created something that I will say you can have. The pizza game, again, you created its own weird thing, and it's fine. Cool. Let's keep it off the hot top 10 list. The hot dog, you can have it, all right? The texture's there, the flavor's there, makes a great product. The hot dog itself is great. Vienna beef, good job. Thanks for not sending me the hot dogs I ordered, though. You're the best. And now the best thing I think Chicago has done food-wise is this. This is a bad stock photo, but this is an Italian beef sandwich. If you're going to Chicago, you're trying to eat, this is what you want. Stay away from the Pete's. You want a hot Italian beef sandwich. Yet again, let's pull it up. Yet again, another sandwich that requires not one but two hands, possibly a fork and knife and a mess and a nap. It's a really fantastic sandwich. I'm going to try to get a good picture here, and I'll walk you through what I know about the Italian beef. I'm trying to get a good shot here. This looks like a good one. We'll take this one here. Did I prep for the show? Of course. Did I get a good Italian beef sandwich? No. I don't like that. It's like a Wawa one. This is what I'm talking about. That's a little chunky on the jardiniere for me, but it's okay. So you need a nice roll, a crusty white roll, right? White bread, always important. Bread, foundation of a sandwich, very, very important. Everyone knows this. Now, the beef here in this picture, I don't know why it looks like pulled pork here. Like, I'm getting real cranky with these pictures. That's a traumatic looking one. I don't know what that is. These pictures, Jesus. I should have just made one of these. What am I doing? Hot damn. I'm trying to get a good one, but whatever. That one will be fine. Oh, this looks like a good I like this one. This one's good. This is a good exploded shot, kind of. That sucks, too. Jesus Christ. Where's the production team, man? Where's this production team when you need them? Anyway, let's stick with it. This isn't my favorite, and we can't. We can't stick with it because that's not appetizing. Where's the good ones? That one looks obnoxious. That one's definitely not the right bread. You would think I'm an expert by the way I'm judging these photos. These are probably all delicious sandwiches from famous places, and I'm just effing it. Scroll, 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 scroll. Give me, what's the name of the place? I don't even remember the name of the place I went to. I'm not busting out my phone and looking. Sad. Sad. I mean, this one looks good. Let's stick with this. I'm picky about the beef because I am passionate about this sandwich. This is a good sandwich. Yeah, we'll stay here. Between these two. All right. So the bread. Clutch move is the bread. Soft bread because this is a soggy-ass sandwich. Now the beef gets 2 treatments. Or 1 treatment, really. Depending on where you go. I'm sure they do it a little bit different. Essentially, it's a braised beef. Sometimes it's like a pot roast. Sometimes it's sliced like a roast beef, like deli meat, kind of. This kind of looks like a combination of the two, and some places do that. It's super, super beefy product. It's braised out and shredded, all right? And again, this looks like it might have some slices. It could have a combination of the two, but it's beef cooked out. It's not like a rare roast beef sandwich by any means. It's a braised out beef cut in a uber beefy jus, topped with a, generally speaking, house-made jardiniere, which is a mix of pickled vegetables that places usually make in-house. The jardiniere that I would prefer has copious amounts of cauliflower in it, as well as celery, pickles, jalapenos, you know, red peppers, green peppers, whatever you can imagine would go into a pickle slaw. This guy's got olives in his for some reason. I'm not really, I love me an olive, but I don't think I want it on my Italian beef sandwich. One last shot for a good pick. Anyway, it's a delicious sandwich, okay? This is another thing that Chicago, you haven't invented the beef sandwich, all right, but you did it right. It is like an Italian dip. That's a good way to put it there, chat. Italian dip is right. It's French dip, but since we're in Chicago, they decided to add a couple vegetables to it to make it healthy. They pickle out all these vegetables in salt and vinegar and load it up. To me, this is the iconic Chicago food, okay? The pizza can go beat it. The hot dog has a, you obviously want a Chicago dog. That's important. But this is the thing that if you're in Chicago, you do want to eat. It is delicious. It's a great food. It's a fantastic bite. And that I would highly, highly recommend getting your hands on. Those are the things that I think about when I think about Chicago food. Those are the 3 biggies. And that's what I think most people that I've talked to also said. There is one more item, and it's in the box. There it is. Let's get it out. Let's talk about it a little bit. This is still sealed. So just so you know, I haven't had it. That's how you know this is all real. We're gonna keep it sealed, and I'll pop it right before we try it. I've never had this in my life. What is it? Some may say. Well, let me pull it up, and I'll show you what it is. This is a product called Jeppson's Malort Liquor. Some say a Chicago icon. Just like the website. A Chicago icon, Jeppson's Malort, has the aroma and full body flavor of an unusual botanical. Its bitter taste is savored by 2-fisted drinkers. That is the opening line. That's what it says. It says, we're an alcohol that is full-bodied, a liqueur that is full-bodied in flavor with an unusual botanical. It's bitter and savored by 2-fisted drinkers. Chicago not only eats hard, they drink hard. This is a liquor made for Chicagoans. I don't know. It's a Chicago icon. Carl Jeppson Company is who makes it. Apparently they make other boozes, bourbons, and things of that nature that I'm sure would be delicious, but that's not what we're doing. Malort is its own thing. I've never had this in my life. I've always heard rumors of it. You can see the color. It literally says on it, it's for two-fisted drinkers. That means if you're drinking hard, you're crushing Malort. It's actually, from what I understand, flavored with wormwood, which is used in absinthe. So I'm expecting an absinthe scent when I open it, or at least a wormwood angle of it. The label is interesting and unique. It has a version of the Chicago flag, which is not the Illinois flag, not to be confused. And the Chicago flag actually has 4 stars on it. There's only 3 on this one. And apparently that's intentional because it actually predates when they added the 4th star to the Chicago flag. I don't know why Chicago has its own flag. I didn't realize cities had their own flags. Apparently they do. Jepson says, we were around before that bullshit. Stick with the 3. They're kind of like, you know, they're like the people with their own flags. They're passionate about their flags. Another interesting fact about this that I heard is Jepson's Malort liqueur was made by Carl Jepson, who happened to be a Swedish immigrant who came to Chicago in the 30s with this shit. Why is that interesting? He owned a cigar shop and chain-smoked cigars and loved drinking this stuff because it was the only thing that he could taste after a career of smoking cigars. So out the gate, this is booze for someone who's a career and lifelong cigar smoker. That sounds dangerous. It doesn't sound like a promising, flavorful treat. I know there's a lot of videos online of people drinking this stuff, like people's reactions to it. There's reaction videos of people drinking this. So this is a bit. We're entering a bit territory, not bits and bites. This is a full-on bit. All right, we could be YouTube famous from this, guys. So it's Scandinavian/Swedish. Apparently, it was used to ease menstrual cramps back in the day. I don't know how that's even possible. But like I said, there's a lot of reaction videos of people consuming this stuff, which we will not watch. You can watch it in your own time. But apparently, this is a tiny place that makes this. There's only 2 employees, or 2 or 3 people, and they take ad slogans from fans of Malort. And I have to have some here. Malort, kick your mouth in the balls. Malort, when you need to unfriend someone in person. Malort, tonight's the night you fight your dad. Malort, the champagne of pain. Malort, turning taste buds into taste foes for generations. Drink Malort. It's easier than telling people you have nothing to live for. Malort, what soap washes its mouth out with. Malort, these pants aren't going to shit themselves. These are rousing endorsements from fans of Malort. And we got the big boy right here. And we're going to get into it after the interview with Emily from August Hill Winery and Illinois Sparkling Company. They're doing some great pet nats and growing grapes for wines out in Illinois. And I didn't know this. I never would have thought that Illinois had a grape growing operation, let alone multiple, let alone some apparent great pet nat production and sparkling wine production and wine production. So we're going to kick it over to the interview with Emily, who threw down on some non-Chicago knowledge and helped us out on all things in that department. So let's go to the interview. We'll be back afterwards. And after the interview, we're going to come back and drink Malort, and hopefully we make it out alive. All right. So joining us now is Emily from August Hill Winery and Illinois Sparkling Company. Emily, hello, and welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, of course. Thanks for joining. I'm excited to hear about August Hill Winery because I did not think that there were grapes being grown out in Illinois. I mean, I guess we could just start right there. Are you born and bred from Illinois?
Yes, I actually grew up about 10-15 minutes from the tasting room.
Oh, all right, nice.
I've lived here my whole life, except for college.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Where exactly is the tasting room?
The tasting room is in Utica, Illinois, so it's pretty directly off Route 80. That's where a lot of visitors will know it from because they'll be coming to visit from the city. We're right next to 2 state parks, and our vineyard is about 10 miles away in between Peru and Spring Valley.
Oh, nice. I'm pulling it up on a map here so we could see it. Yeah, nice. I see you're there. About how far of a drive are you from Chicago if I'm in downtown Chicago?
Ooh, downtown, I'm not sure, but you can usually get to the city in 2 hours or less, I'd say. It's like, you know, it can be an hour and 15 minutes if you're having a really awesome day and you're driving quickly. But, you know, it's so unpredictable to head into Chicago these days. And especially in the summer, like, they might have more trouble getting down here than they do heading up to the city because we have so much traffic from our parks.
Right. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, I see a lot of parks out there.
Yeah.
So let me, I'll ask you what I ask everybody. So again, thanks for representing the great state of Illinois. And like I said, I want to hear about the why, but I'm going to ask you a basic thing because I've been to Chicago. I haven't really been outside of Chicago too much. And since you're from there, this is a good question. So in New Jersey, this is how I always explain it. I'm from New Jersey. In New Jersey, people who live here generally break it up into like three kind of sections. There's North Jersey, Central Jersey, and South Jersey. North Jersey is like closer to New York, so it's kind of got like the New York vibe. It's like faster, you know, like a little city-like as the closer you get to the city. Central Jersey is kind of a blend between the two with the shore, and then in the South Jersey, it's a little closer to Philly, so it's a little bit more. There's the Pine Barrens down there. It's just like a large open forest kind of area, and then there's like, you know, Atlantic City, Cape May type stuff. How would you classify like Illinois? Like, would you break it up into sections? Would it be like a 3-section grid, or how would you break it up? Chicago obviously is probably its own section, but outside of that, how would you take that?
Yeah, I feel like there's Chicago and there's the suburbs. And then generally, I think you get more like Northern Illinois and Southern Illinois. Okay. I know that where I'm at right now has been referred to as like North Central Illinois. Okay. And I've had that kicking around in my head since I was a kid. But, you know, Southern Illinois, they have a lot more warmer climates and just a little bit of a different like environment and temperature than up here.
Right.
And I kind of noticed that. I lived in Indiana for a while too, like Southern Indiana. You get a little bit more of an accent in the two once you head down south, and you feel like you're a little more south than you are sometimes. And I think it's fun because, you know, everyone up here, you get a Chicago accent.
Yeah, I like that there's that blend there. I'm looking at it on a map, and I mean, again, I'm familiar with the map of our country, but as I look where everything kind of converges, there's that like little point where Kentucky meets Indiana meets Illinois, and it's kind of like I can see where the South kind of looks like it begins right there.
Yeah, I went to school in Evansville, Indiana, which is very close to that tri-state area, and we were right across the river from Owensboro, Kentucky, and so just so many more accents than I was used to hearing. I definitely walked away from that school saying y'all a lot more often than I did growing up here. Yes,
Illinois definitely, Chicago especially looks to be like, I'd say, the capital of the Midwest almost, like the way it's laid out.
Yeah.
Again, Chicago's a great city, and I mean, I feel like I could do like a whole episode just on Chicago. I mean, Chicago's a great place. I'm sure like most people have been there, but like again to the winery point, I'm glad I found you because Chicago does have a lot of farmland outside of like the cities. Am I right in saying that? Like, I feel like I read that somewhere that there's huge amounts of farmland out there.
Yeah, well, maybe go into not necessarily the super close suburbs, but once you start getting out towards like Naperville, you'll notice that there's lots of big flat areas open, you know, that's all farmland. And Illinois, if you're going to drive through it on the interstates, that's pretty much all you will see is the farmland. And it's awesome. Like, I love our agricultural backbone, but it does kind of give, because of the way we all travel now, it gives people the kind of wrong impression that Illinois is a super flat, boring, filled with fields. And then when you get off the beaten path, like around here, you'll find our river valleys, canyon, stuff like that are really awesome.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's what I was trying to highlight, especially in a state like this where, again, I think anyone I've talked to about Illinois, like for the past week when I was talking about it, everyone's just like, oh yeah, Chicago. I was like, yeah, but there's more to Illinois. I'm sure everyone who's in Illinois is like, enough about Chicago. We get it. There's other great places. We get it, Chicago.
No, I can talk about Chicago a lot all day. I used to want to live there, maybe one day, but yeah, it is different than the rest of Illinois.
Chicago's a fun city. I mean, I've spent some time there. Chicago knows how to party. They could eat. They could drink. It's a great place. I mean, for sure. It's nice. I like it. But let's talk. Let me ask you a couple things. Since we're going to stay in Chicago, so again, bits and bites. I bring the food and the drink in from some of these places, and I try my best to get the most representative stuff. Chicago loves their weird mix of popcorn. I have here like a Garrett's blend of caramel corn and cheddar corn. Is that something that like is commonly eaten out there? Are you guys eating that by the handful in Illinois, or is this just like a rube thing that they're selling in airports?
I'm not. Okay, so I used to be a very, very, very picky eater when I was a kid, adamantly picky. So there are things that I might have missed, but I don't know if I've ever heard of, was that caramel popcorn and...
Yes, it's caramel and kettle corn put together, but this one particular that I have is cheddar corn and caramel corn together.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard of the cheddar and the caramel corn. We do have an artisanal popcorn shop nearby that has some awesome blends, and I'll have to check with them to see like if that is a popular one. What I really like is like they have some savory popcorns over there, like cheddar jalapeno
nice.
Or like cheddar parmesan.
Nice. But
they do have these sweet ones that it could be a possibility. Like I've seen like purple popcorn over there for Halloween, and it tastes like candy, really.
Nothing like some candy popcorn. There's apparently a lot of popcorn grown out in Chicago. I read that somewhere, but not Chicago, Illinois. And then I have obviously some of the food things. I was thinking about making like an Italian beef sandwich because that's like predominantly very Chicago kind of thing. But I got my hands on the Chicago relish, which is obviously a neon green that I'm going to guess is some kind of unnecessary food coloring that's in there, and the sport peppers, which are obviously a part of the Chicago hot dog. That's how they get eaten out there. Sport peppers, green relish, tomato wedges, celery salt. You guys love a hot dog out there. And then Malort. Do you know much of Malort?
I have not tried it myself, but one of my coworkers here has. Her ex-husband dared her to do it, and my boyfriend tried it recently, and they dare each. I think that she lost a fitness challenge to him, and so she had to drink Malort, and I've heard it like tastes like gym socks.
Oh, good. Oh, that sounds lovely. I'm glad I have a full bottle here that I haven't touched yet.
Yeah, I wish you a lot of luck.
I mean, I know so.
I've heard you can love it or hate it.
I've heard a friend of mine, I told him I was doing it. He's like, you got to get Malort. It's the best. And I was like, I don't know about that. I've heard exactly that. Everyone's like, it tastes terrible. You don't want it. But he loves it. So we're going to find out what this tastes like later. But let's talk about tasty things. I want to hear a little bit about August Hill Winery and the grapes. I'm really concerned with the kind of grapes are being grown out there. Tell us a little bit about August Hill Winery and the sparkling company that's going on.
Yeah, well, I brought some of our wines that I can show you and talk to you about. But
please.
So we make all of our own wines. You know, we're not a wine shop; we are a winery, so we're producing them all. We don't necessarily grow all of the grapes because right now our vineyard is a little bit smaller than the demand we have, and for some of our wines, we can't even grow the grapes here. There's a very popular one called Niagara that grape can only grow in New York in those cold temperatures. But yeah, our vineyard is amazing. We grow mostly our sparkling wine grapes over there because those are, when our winemaker planted the vineyards, he found that the grapes that were successful ended up being very high in acid and low in tannins, which lends itself very well to sparkling wine and white wines as well, I would think, or rosés. Chambourcin is a grape that we use quite often in our wines, and that is a North American grape. I love it. We use it in a red blend, Berlin, that I have right here.
I wish I got my hands on some of this wine to bring in. That looks great. Whoa, nice bottle.
Yeah. This is Berlin. It's our best seller. It's a semi-dry red blend. I think it's a very easygoing wine, easy to drink. It's something you can give very easily as a gift to somebody that you don't know their wine taste, because it's just kind of in that middle ground. And if you serve it at room temp, it'll come off a little bit drier, but you can also throw it in the fridge, and the cherry notes will kind of bring out a little bit of sweetness in it.
Nice. Non-aggressive red blend.
Yes, yeah. So it's a perfect one to just... If you just have to go to a dinner party and you want to bring a bottle of wine and you don't want to break the bank and you don't want to offend anybody, we have a perfect wine here.
That's great. And
yeah.
So they're growing. It's a mix of grapes for the wines, but then for the sparkling company, the sparkling wines, it's all Illinois grown grapes.
Yes.
That's crazy. I wouldn't have thought the grapes grew well up there, but I guess you're right. The high acid, specific type of grapes. That's just really interesting. I never would have thought that Illinois had grapes growing up there. How much vineyard space is there out there?
Ooh, I don't know the exact acreage. If you wanted, at some point, I could send you after this any B-roll footage I have of the vines that you could throw in there, because I have some footage of, like, going through it. You can see we have a hill that is filled with about like 10 rows of vines, and then once you get past the hill, we have more and more that keep going back and back. Gosh.
Crazy. Yeah, I'm scanning the website. I see the pictures here. It looks great. Utica, Illinois.
It's not a huge vineyard, but it is pretty sizable when you're out there hand harvesting everything.
Yeah, I feel like drinking delicious pet nats made in Illinois with Illinois grapes with a Chicago hot dog sounds really good. It sounds like a good combo.
And I have I've actually brought 2 of our pet nats over, because I really love the pet nats too, and I love talking about them.
Yeah.
And I like showing everybody how they change when you reintegrate the yeast back in the bottle and like letting that fall off.
Yes.
Very cool. It's hard to see sometimes.
No, I definitely can see it. It's definitely I see the clouds moving through. It's making me.
There's a big one.
That looks great. What's that called? What's that one? Illmatic?
Yes, this is called Illmatic. We made this in collaboration with the Pet Nat Posse up in Chicago. So
yes.
you may want to check them out.
I've heard of the Pet Nat Posse before. Shout out to the Pet Nat Posse.
Yeah, this is, I can't think of the right word, but in honor of Nas's, the Pet Nat Posse decided to commemorate this bottle in memory of Nas's inaugural album, Illmatic.
Yes.
I really like this one a lot. It is great. I hope it doesn't sell out of stock too quickly for me to buy a couple more bottles to fill up my wine rack.
Get a few to bring home for sure. I wish I got my hands on some of this stuff. I feel like I should have easily got a case of this stuff and been destroying some delicious sparkling wines right now. That looks delicious. That definitely is going to taste better than this Malort, I believe. But I don't know.
Good.
Yeah, I think I went the wrong route with the liquids for the state, but I don't know.
I think we actually recommended a Chicago style hot dog as a pairing with it too.
That would be
anything you wanted to look up.
That would be perfect. That would be great. Do you guys get Chicago style hot dogs outside of Chicago? Like, are they still Chicago style? Is that just like an Illinois thing, or is it kind of specific to the city? That's a good question.
People do Chicago style hot dogs around here. I don't know how, authentic they are. I don't know where the line is at.
Yeah.
We do see them.
I think as long as it has like the poppy seed roll, I would guess is like an iconic thing. And I would think it would have to have that obnoxious green relish. I think that's just, to me, like that's what says it's a Chicago dog. It's so neon and ridiculous. And then tomatoes, it's like a whole thing. I'll ask you something else about the food. Deep dish pizza. Chicago deep dish pizza is obviously a big thing. It's all right to me. I'm not the biggest fan of the world, but is this something that spreads outside of Chicago and you can get in more of Illinois? Because I know like out here you can get a deep dish, but it's certainly not like it is there in Chicago. Chicago, it's a thing. Is it more readily accessible outside of Chicago?
I don't think it's as huge. And I've also kind of heard sometimes that like the deep dish phenomena in Chicago is like overblown and it's only for special occasions, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what you guys are up to up there, but personally it's like I might not be paying attention because I prefer crispy,
yes,
like thinner and crispy crust generally. Like I can kind of go for a thicker crust, but the deep dish, you just get so doughy at the end of it. I
refer to it as like a pizza lasagna. Like it doesn't even make sense. It's not really even pizza. It's delicious. Like it has its own thing, but it's certainly not what I want when I want pizza. It's just not. It's its own baked product with lots of meat and cheese. It's literally like a lasagna to me. I was like, yeah, this is good. We're here. This is great. But let's get some crispy pizza. What are we doing, guys? So you're in Utica, right outside Chicago, 2 hours. What kind of like food, let's say like, what kind of cultures, I guess, are represented in like a food that you would see like maybe on like the main street where you are or something like that? Like, is there any kind of like, what would you get on like a Tuesday night if you're going out? Like here in New Jersey, there's like red sauce Italian places and thin and crispy pizza everywhere. Like what would just be a random kind of thing that you would pick up out there?
Yeah, so I can tell you about Utica, but I'd also say that generally this area is kind of like a conglomeration of different small towns. Mm-hmm. Like the high school that I attended had 9 or 10 feeder schools. So you kind of, and they're kind of spaced out, but people will order food, from kind of far away and then go get it because of their personal favorites and like what they like. It's cool. In the city, it probably take you very quickly to get there if we have to drive through the country roads or whatever. So in Utica, on the main drag, we have a couple of taverns. There's a new cafe that opened up last year that's doing some like lighter fare that we're enjoying. But we have a tap house right across the street that has Illinois beers.
Nice.
And they have some really great food. There's a very well-known tavern down the road called Skoogs.
Skoogs.
Yeah, they're known for their wings and their jumbo pork tenderloins, which is something that I have to mention as someone of a German descent, because there are a lot of German people that settled in this area, and this is something that you won't really find that much outside of the Midwest, are pork tenderloin sandwiches.
Really? Pork tenderloin sandwiches. All right. Tell me a little bit more.
It's a thinly beaten pork that's breaded and then fried, and it's awesome. You can top it with, whatever you like, and I just prefer like peppers and black pepper, stuff like that. But
so it's almost like a mini schnitzel on a roll, kinda ish.
Yeah. Yes. Kind of like a schnitzel.
I'm trying to get some pictures of it. Oh, it looks like it's a very oversized piece of pork on a bun.
Well, so there's a whole movement of giant pork tenderloins.
That's the pictures I'm seeing. They look silly.
Yeah. And I'm actually part of this group on Facebook called Pursuing Pork Tenderloin Sandwiches, and like I just see all these posts of these. I can't quit anymore because people will bring out porks that are like this big.
Yes, I love that you're part of a pork sandwich group. Anyway, that makes me very happy. We definitely have the right person to talk to. So let's talk more about pork. This is great. I mean, that's a good point. Illinois is big into, meat processing and stuff like that was huge, like back in the day there. Wasn't Chicago or even somewhere else in Illinois like the main processor of like all the meat? I don't know the numbers, but butchery and stuff like that is big out there. Is there any kind of, like, around here at least, there's like a lot of movements for, local farms and farm to table and stuff like that. Like, do you find a lot, let's say the pork's actually a good example. Is it mostly like commodity pork that you're going to be seeing in places like that? Or do you find any places that actually specialize in maybe like local ranches that raise their own pigs, special breeds and stuff like that? Is that existing there, or is that people don't care so much?
That stuff is really just starting to take off around here. Like we had a farm to table restaurant open about a year or two ago in a neighboring town. And that little cafe down the street, they may do some of that. I'm not certain about their ingredients,
right.
But it's really just starting to take off, and it's really cool actually to see it happening, and be here for it. Like the brewery in Ottawa, Tangled Roots Brewery, they are, farm to table with their hops. And so they're growing their own hops and brewing it, and they're locally grown as well.
Yeah,
it really is just beginning here.
Well, that's great. I love that. And I love the food thing is great because I noticed it here. There's a couple farms in New Jersey where, you can actually go to the store now and get locally raised like pigs and cattle, and they don't have it all the time, but when they, I guess, do a slaughter or whatever, it's there. And it's just good to see because it's obviously a higher welfare animal, and the protein's gonna be better for you and all that stuff. I would just think that out there it would be something that they got into. But it's good to see this taking off there. That makes sense to me. I like that. So let's see. What else do we have here? I'm looking at the map. I'm looking at Utica. I see the road runs right through the middle there. Yeah. What other kind of food things do you think? Are we missing any? The pork sandwiches, that sounds pretty good. I'm surprised it didn't come up on the radar. Is there anything else that we're missing that's big out in Illinois that's a underground sensation?
Well, I tell people sometimes that around here we have like a secret fried chicken mecca.
Uh-oh.
Like everyone says that, and I've heard this from other people, that everyone's like, oh, Nashville, Tennessee, like, or, they'll say other states have the lock on fried chicken, but around here you will see like a lot of it at restaurants, and it's really popular. The restaurant that I grew up loving, and they closed and they recently changed owners, so I haven't had a chance to really try and see everything's exactly the same, but Garzanelli's in Oglesby was where I like learned at the foot of fried chicken. You know, they had amazing chicken growing up. And there's lots of places that specialize in it, like, and there's a Mexican restaurant in Oglesby as well called Mr. Salsa's, and they have fried chicken on their menu.
Mr. Salsa's, what a great name.
Yeah. But yeah, like everywhere I could think of, there's Rip's Tavern in Ladd, Annie's Hideaway, like all these different places around here. They all serve amazing fried chicken.
Interesting.
And you're totally blown away.
That is definitely a good inside track. I mean, who would have thought that there's fantastic fried chicken to be had 2 hours outside of Chicago? Who saw that coming?
Like when I was growing up and we'd get carryouts, pretty much that meant we were going to get fried chicken from somewhere.
Get a bucket of fried chicken from somewhere and bring it out. That's the move.
Oh no, like we'd all get, you know, like a quarter light and your fries and your salad and maybe rabs, or, you know, a lot of times it was rabs and stuff like that.
Rabs? What is rab?
Raviolis.
Oh, fried raviolis?
Yeah. I don't know if they were fried. I think just like in a pot, like kind of a meat stuffed pasta.
Oh, interesting. With the fried chicken, what a weird combo.
But I said that to my boyfriend, who was born in New Jersey and grew up in North Carolina.
Right.
And he was like, "Rabs, what are you talking about?"
Yeah, rabs. I mean, I know ravioli. I've heard it called rabs, but I wouldn't think that I'm getting fried chicken and rabs together. But maybe it's a great pairing.
Spaghetti too is another popular choice.
Spaghetti, yeah. I don't want spaghetti in my fried chicken. I don't think those are two things I want together. But that's me. You know, I didn't grow up. If I grew up eating that, maybe I would. But you know, to each their own. I'm not going to judge. It's okay. I want the fried chicken though, for sure.
Family style.
I get it. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. It makes sense. I can see it. Easily shareable. What else do we have here? So, outside of Chicago and where you are, which looks like a cool little town, which I probably never would have heard of, is there any other like areas in Illinois that I guess have some things going on? Like I see Springfield here, Decatur. Is there anything else that seems interesting to you? Like if someone was coming in and saying, yeah, well, don't go to Chicago, go try here, besides Utica, obviously.
Ooh, there's lots of little towns. I have to look up the names of all of them. The one that immediately springs to mind, and I'm kind of like hyping up the competitor here, but would be Galena, Illinois.
Galena.
Yes, it's very beautiful. I visited there when I was a kid, and my dad referred to it as the Illinois Mountains because it has a lot more terrain changes than you see around here and more dramatic. And they have a winery there, Galena Cellars, and it's a town that's very similar to Utica, very cute, historic downtown. And there's lots of different, you know, shops and restaurants and breweries and bars and distilleries and wineries to visit.
Nice. I see it's up in the northwest corner there, so we're kind of bordering up on Wisconsin, maybe, or where is this?
Yeah, they're pretty far north.
Yeah.
But
well,
they're definitely on my top to go visit list.
Nice. Yeah, that looks like a cool. I see as I zoom in I'm looking at the map right here so people can see it too. I see as I zoom in, there's all these little towns kind of popping up in between, like little hot spots with main streets I can see. So I think you're definitely right in saying that there's a whole bunch out here for sure.
Yeah, if you just search, I've done it before, like I have a list written down somewhere, but like if you just search like, oh, cute towns in Illinois to visit, it'll give you this awesome list. It's mostly the same ones repeated over and over again, and they all have little downtowns. I think there might have been one that has some history as a utopian society, or that could be in Indiana, I'm not certain.
Utopian society out in Illinois. Oh boy, I'll have to look that one up.
Former, not
of course not current.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else we have? We have the local food. We have the fried chicken. We have the grape. I still can't get over I just haven't thought of growing grapes in Illinois. For some reason, I always think of Illinois as cold and like brutal, harsh conditions. And then growing the grapes in multiple wineries. How many other wineries are out there? You said the other town has one. Are there more? Are there many, or is there a handful?
Well, I guess I should start by kind of addressing the beginning of what you're saying, is because you're like, you'd never expect grapes to be grown out here. But before Prohibition, we were actually the 4th largest wine producing state in the nation.
Never would have thought that.
And it's because we have amazing soil around here. I've always heard since I grew up, and I don't know how true this is, but I still keep hearing it, that my area in particular has very fertile soil, because that's why there's so many farmers here. And So they just, they just swapped out their vines for crops like bean and corns. And in some states, people would, some winemakers across the country got away with it by making sacramental wines, holy wines. So
Yes.
they were allowed to be produced, or they would sell the grapes to people, and then they would say in the box, it is illegal to ferment this and do these steps and make wine from it, so don't do that.
Clever.
Another way people got by.
Very clever.
In Illinois, a lot of people just switched over to agriculture and producing food instead. And so then, we didn't have as many wineries. And so it's been a slow revival. There are, I don't know, there are a lot of Illinois wineries now. It's really getting bigger and bigger. I want to say over 100.
Wow.
I don't want to go any more specific than that.
That's fair. That's still, that's more than like the 20 I would have maybe guessed being a lot. So that's for sure. Yeah, that's a lot. It sounds like I need to do a Illinois wine tour. Kind of get a little trip going, find out some tasty wines out there. Do you guys? I know like New Jersey makes wines, but do you guys? You showed the red that you had before, and obviously I'm sure you have some whites. You said some white varietals. Do you guys lean more on, as a whole, as a state, like reds or whites? Like I know New Jersey, they lean on much sweeter white wines here, generally speaking. If you get a New Jersey wine.
I don't know if, like, we make pretty much ourselves. We make a very large spectrum of wines,
right?
From full-bodied oaked dry reds to a very sweet white. And we actually have like some really fun ones that I'm just going to break out so you can see it.
What is that? Is that a blue?
Colored. Yes, it's blue. So this is really popular with the sweet drinkers.
Whoa, what's in there?
Glitter in it.
Glitter wine?
Yes.
What's it called?
It's called Indigo.
Indigo. Why is it blue? And why is there glitter in my wine? Is it going to be in my teeth?
No, it's the same stuff they use at bakeries on cupcakes and stuff like that.
All right, swirly stuff, yeah.
So I'll tell you it's blue because first we had the green emerald apple for St. Patrick's Day. Okay,
that makes sense.
And everyone loved it. Even if you weren't, even dry drinkers were like, I'm gonna have to buy a bottle just to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is a conversation piece for sure. It's a beautiful, it looks like a live lava lamp when you shake it up like that. Tell me a little bit about this stuff. Now, hold on, like, that's crazy. I've never seen stuff inside the wine like that. So that's like the baker's sparkle or whatever, or whatever it would be. Does that add to the flavors? Does that add the sweetness? I can't think I've ever just tasted that on its own.
It does not add any sweetness to it.
Interesting. So it's just visually only. And when you pour it in a glass, does it do the same thing in the glass? It just looks all crazy. It's amazing.
Yes, it's pretty awesome.
So what kind of wines are those?
Those are white wines. So the green one is actually fermented apples.
Okay.
And so it's an apple-based wine.
Like an apple wine, like a German style apple wine, or just like an apple flavored kind of? Is it a blend with grapes or just apples?
Just apple. So you take the apple juice and you ferment that into wine. Then the blue one is made out of grapes. It's a grape wine. What was the question initially?
I don't know. It was
tell you more.
The apple. Yeah. Does it taste delicious? I guess is the question, because it looks crazy.
They're a little too sweet for me to like drink a whole glass all the time.
Sure.
The green one I tried recently, the emerald apple, it was really good with like a charcuterie roll that we had that had like prosciutto, mozzarella, and basil all into one.
I could see that.
We were kind of blown away. Like, I don't even really like sweet wines, and this is amazing. I would drink this. And the green one, it tastes kind of like a green Jolly Rancher.
Okay.
Kind of like that apple candy.
Got it.
flavor.
Apple candy vibes.
The blue one is more of like tropical fruit and cotton candy flavors.
Nice.
A little bit of peaches in there, maybe.
Clever to put the glitter in there. I mean, I'm shocked more people aren't doing that now that I just see that. That seems like such a cheap way to get a nice bottle sale. Be like, look, shake it up. It's great. Look at that.
But we make all types of wines here. So we have like the dry reds, dry whites, sweet whites, reds, rosés. We have everything.
What else do you have in front of you? Do you have any other bottles that we could show off?
Yeah, I have another one of our Pet Nats.
Beautiful.
The Pet Nat Rosé.
That's a great color.
Yeah, I really like the color on this one.
Yeah,
and then when the yeast comes down off of it, kind of get that light.
I could see it. No, I definitely could see it. It comes through for sure. Like better than it should. Yeah, that looks great. Wow, nice. And what kind of grapes what do we have in that one?
I'm pretty sure this one is made with Chamberson grapes.
Nice.
I could be wrong off the top of my head, but I think it is.
That's all right.
And I found, and that is an Illinois grown grape. I found that I really like a lot of the Chamberson wines. It's kind of interesting to really get into that. I like the Chamberson Rosé. I like the Labelle Rosé, which is also using Chamberson grapes. I like this wine. I like our Brut Ombre Rosé, also Chamberson grapes. This is one of our traditional method sparkling wines. And I could tell you a little bit about the difference between traditional method and ancestral, if that might help.
Please do.
Get that off the wall. So the traditional method wines are in the champagne style. Mm-hmm. So this is what it is not a champagne because it's not made with grapes from Champagne, France, but it is made with that method in which you ferment a wine twice. First you ferment the grape juice to make a still wine, then you add sugar and yeast and you ferment it again. And then you bottle that, let it age with the yeast, and then you disgorge the yeast after a period of time. The ancestral method wines or pet nat wines, you start the first fermentation and you bottle that wine before the primary fermentation is complete. So the pressure that builds up inside it is totally natural from the first fermentation. And it may actually be the earliest method of making sparkling wine. And it could have happened totally accidentally by somebody.
Right. Petite Natural, I think it is, right? Something like that. I love pet nats. They're super bright and sparkly and always delicious and generally lower ABV, I think, too. So they're super crushable and tasty. Yes. That's exciting. You guys have multiple pet nats. I mean, I haven't been to a New Jersey winery in a while, not to compare, but there is a lot of Chambourcin in New Jersey for sure, and it's not my favorite, just maybe because of the way it's grown out here or something. And I don't see a lot of pet nats when I was out there, so maybe I got to get out there and check out some of these wineries and see if pet nats becoming a thing. I hope so.
It's really kind of starting to take on a renaissance, the pet nat wines. I don't have it in front of me, but we actually just made a PK. And that is rehydrated grape pomace fermented on its residual sugars. So that is also low ABV, very crushable. Gets that funky flavor that you might also see in an IPA.
Yeah, those are really delicious and special kind of wines, and great use for a winery to use because it's the waste. There's really no waste when you're using piquettes or PKs. That's exciting. These pet nats coming out of Illinois. I just wasn't expecting that. I just did not see that on the radar coming. Thought it was all gonna be hot dogs and Malort and Goose Island. Oh, not Goose Island. Goose Island's in. No. What's the biggest brewery that you think of when you think of Illinois?
I don't really drink much beer, so I'd probably think of the local one, Tangled Roots Brewery, immediately, and they're getting pretty big and pretty well known too, so that's cool.
I would assume also that there's probably like most states, when breweries start to open and become more popular, distilleries usually aren't too far behind. Are there a fair amount of distilleries that are around in that you know of that are making any quality spirits and stuff like that? I'm sure that has to exist out there.
Yeah, there's only one that I know of, and there could be more, but I don't think that there really are in my immediate vicinity. It's called Star Union Spirits, and they have really great products. I've actually collaborated with them a little bit. They helped me make some wine cocktails using the indigo and the emerald apple.
Oh, nice.
And they're awesome cocktails. It's 2 ounces of vodka, 2 ounces of indigo, and then frozen lemonade, and you top it with sparkling wine. But sip cautiously. It's very dangerous. I
was going to say, that sounds insanely dangerous. You have 2 ounces of vodka. Hold on. 2 ounces of vodka, 2 ounces of the blue sparkle juice, frozen lemonade on top, and then you hit it with some soda?
Some sparkling wine.
Oh, that's dangerous. What are you doing out there? Illinois does party. Does that come in a nice tall glass so I could just take that down?
But they have a beautiful space. It's in an old clock factory. My great-grandmother actually worked there in the West Clocks building.
Wow, look at that.
It's gorgeous. They have kind of mostly Prohibition-style cocktails, but they're all very great.
I see. I'm taking a look right here. Yeah, I love the packaging on their stuff. Looks fantastic as well. Really cool. Very cool stuff. That's great. Yeah, what else? What are we missing? Are we missing anything about Illinois?
I do want to give a shout out because we were talking about local restaurants to Cajun Connection. Which is an. Oops, sorry.
No, go ahead. Cajun Connection. I want to pull it up. Tell me about it.
Yeah. It's an authentic Cajun restaurant, and Cajun Ron was actually just here yesterday or the day before to pick up some of his wine. And we actually made. I'm glad I grabbed it. We made this wine in collaboration with them, or in honor of them, Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras wine?
Yes. It is one of our most popular sweet rosés, sweet catawba, bubbled with possibly some flavor extracts added to it, but it is awesome. It is really great for tempering down the heat on spicy foods, which makes it an ideal match for Cajun fare.
Ron's Cajun Connection. I'm looking at his page right now. So it's a legit Cajun restaurant in the middle of Utica. Is that what's going on?
Yes, and he is from Louisiana. He is authentic, and he loves what he does.
Oh man, I can't even see this guy, but I could just tell that he sounds fantastic. I mean, on his page, click in. There's a whole recipe for roux and gumbo, and it also does say on the bottom, we can guarantee it will be authentic. That makes me very happy. I love Ron. I love Louisiana. Louisiana is a great state. I don't think we've been there yet. No, we're going alphabetically. We've not hit Louisiana yet. That's great. And that's what a great little thing to have out there. A Cajun restaurant right in the middle of Utica outside. Are we missing anything else? What else are we missing? I feel we covered good ground here. We got the hot dogs. We Chicago hot dogs are a plus. Deep dish pizza, negative. We don't need that. No one wants that. Even the people who live in Illinois. Silly. Delicious sparkling wine.
I'm not sure, but
no, I'm gonna go with it.
It was overhyped.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm gonna concur. That's gonna be the ranking. It's definitely overhyped. Strange popcorns. You guys grow a lot of popcorn, so popcorn's a thing. We got that right. I'm trying to think. I think that's it. Malort. Malort's the only thing I'm afraid of. I have the fear about the Malort, but I'll have to check back in and let you know how it goes with the Malort.
Yes, please do, because I've heard horror stories, so I'm scared of trying it myself.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you know. I don't have great hopes, but it's here, so we'll see where it goes in the next portion. I love doing the show with people like you, Emily, because it makes me feel like I want to go there now. Like I want to go to Utica and hang out and drink these delicious pet nats and hang out and go crush Cajun food at Ron. Like this sounds amazing.
Yeah, well, if you ever make it over here, just hit me up, and we will set you up and get you a wine flight so you can try some pet nats.
I will definitely be doing that next time I'm out in Chicago, because I do love Chicago. Emily, thanks so much for joining. You're the best. That was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope you find out more about some Illinois food with somebody who knows a little bit more about that.
No, it's fantastic. You're the boots on the ground for us. You're a great connection. Thanks so much, Emily. That was great. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on.
Thanks. Cool. All right, I'll just stop the recording. Oh, boy, we made it. Emily, you were a fantastic guest. Thank you for coming on. Wasn't she great? Wasn't she great? Yes, I thought she was fantastic. She was great. I love talking about these little towns outside of Chicago. Like I said, we came in chatting Chicago because Chi-Town's the big city. But she really did bring the boots to the ground for the smaller little towns out there. And I learned about stuff we didn't even know existed. I didn't know there was like chicken snitch. Oh, God, I can't talk. I'm scared of the Malort. I'm not going to lie. I don't get scared about a lot of things, but I'm scared of the Malort. I was reading about it during the interview. And nothing good. Emily, again, thank you so much. Check out August Hill Winery and the sparkling wine company that they have going on out there. That stuff does look very delicious. Pet Nat Posse was referenced in the interview. Pet Nat Posse. Shout out to them. Check them out online, but very cool stuff. I'm scared to do it, but here we are. The things I do for the show. That was just water. Relax. Okay, that's also water. So I had ice cubes here, and it looks like they're melted, but I don't know if I should have ice with this. I'm not quite sure the way to go, but and just to prove that I have not opened this at all, it's still got I guess it's like a tamper-proof thing on top of here that it came with, so I'm pulling that off. It resembles dead skin. Okay. Alphabetically pull down the soothing sax sounds. There we go. So, I mean, they take this like it's a shot, and it's wormwood based. That's the thing. It's like I want to say it's just going to be like spirit alcohol that's wormwood based. Let's open the bottle so you know it's fresh. All right, it's popped. I'm really going to be honest. I'm going to be not overly dramatic about it. I hear it's bitter. I enjoy bitter cocktails. I enjoy me some Campari. I'll drink some Fernet. You know, I'm into it. I just don't know what to expect. Anyone who's ever had it says it's terrible. Wow, the smell is perfuming. Wow, that's a potent scent. Ooh. I got a stomach of steel. You know, that's what they say. Got the stomach of steel. Everyone knows. I got a little bit of the fear. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little bit of the fear shaking around right now. All right, let's get in here. God, I don't even want to smell it. I'm not exaggerating. That is, it's pretty foul smelling and kind of like turned my stomach a little bit smelling. Maybe it's because I ate half a bowl of cheddar and caramel corn popcorn, and Chicago's best crunchy item really just doesn't go with this, but all right. Second smells a little less off-putting. It smells like nail polish and gasoline. It smells like old gasoline. Like, not even exaggerating. It's, I think, like grain spirit. Well, oh god, I feel like I tasted it already. It's like here. You know, you smell something and like it gets in you, like it's here, and all I did was smell it. Fuck. I don't want to write it off yet, though. Maybe it'd be great in a cocktail or something. I don't know how, but maybe. Yeah. All right. It smells like a tire and gasoline mixed. Like old gas and tires, like rubber. So they use wormwood, which is in absinthe. This is what I was trying to get out. And absinthe, as you know, there's a whole ceremony to it. Very Euro, very French, or wherever it's from. And, you see the green fairy. You put the sugar cube. You dance a little water on it. Creates a louche in the absinthe and creates a nice fancy drink. For those of you that know. For those of you that don't, absinthe has a little bit of a, the rumor is, it has some psychedelic properties, very low-level psychedelic activities when you're consuming lots of absinthe. Some say it's because of the high alcoholic proof. Some say it's because of the wormwood. But what it actually is, it's something called thujone. I think it's how you say it. And that gives the psychoactive properties of absinthe. This has all of the flavors that you don't want without any of the thujone. So you won't even fake trip. 70 proof, 35% alcohol by volume. So it's actually pretty low. So, why does it smell so bold and terrible? And if you're gonna, let's be honest, Chicago or Sweden or Nordic world, wherever this originated, we already talked about. If you're gonna make it so terrible, just bump it up. Make it like, make it like $1.20. Make it hurt. It's gonna hurt anyway. I'm looking over at my water glass and I realize I have like none, and I feel like I'm gonna need it. So I have a club soda here. I'm gonna pop. I'm hoping I enjoy it. Should I just shoot this? Like, I shouldn't have a tiny shot. I should shoot it, right? Because if I was in Chicago in a bar at like 5 a.m. drinking, someone's just gonna give me a shot. So, I think the move is a shot. I don't think I want to sip it like a whiskey. I think I just want to shoot it first. I don't know if I'm gonna want to go back after a first sip. You know what I'm saying? And I think historically it's done like a shot. So let's do it. Cheers, Chicago. Ah! This is shit. What the fuck is that? I truly, like, I want to say I was poisoned. There's no redeeming qualities to this. I've drank many things of varying bitterness degrees, alcoholic and not. This is terrible. This is an absolutely terrible product. Anyone who's ever said it is good or you enjoy it, you're lying and you're wrong, or your mouth is wrong. What the fuck? Why would you want that? Is it so? This is the joke? Is this like this is the fuck you from Chicago? It's like, yeah, we do this. It's cool. This is this thing we do. I drink this, and now it tastes like I chewed on a flaming tire. Oh my fucking god! The lingering taste is absolutely atrocious. Rubber. Tastes like rubber and old gasoline. Oh, God. That was terrible. Oh, God. Oh, it doesn't sit well either. There's nothing good about this. Don't do that. Don't even do it to try it. Oh, God. It's like ripping all the flavor elements in my mouth. It was like, ugh. I can't even talk. I don't even want to eat that. I'm afraid. I gotta eat it. I gotta eat something to get this taste out of my mouth. Oh, my God. It completely changes the taste of this. This isn't even enjoyable anymore. The sweet is gone. My mouth is ripped apart by the... I guess that's all wormwood? Wow, that's terrible. Holy shit. Are you really drinking that, Chicago? Are you really drinking this? If you're drinking this, there's got to be more fights in Chicago than I can imagine. This is like Chicago, like, fight juice. All those slogans sounded right, but it did not say Chicago fight juice. I'm calling this Chicago fight juice. You drink this, I'm fighting you. Or if we're drinking this, someone's fighting. You're going to fight. This is fiery. This will fire you up. You're pissed off you consumed it, and then if someone started talking shit, you'd crack a bottle on their skull immediately. If someone bought me this shot and gave it to me and started laughing, I might. I swear to God, if I didn't tell you it was more, or I knew what it was, or poured it myself, I would honestly believe it was poison. And I've drank some weird shit. Questionably flavored botanical things, I get it. That's terrible. It's just now like... That's terrible. I'm sorry if that wasn't entertaining, but that's just terrible. Fuck you, Malort. And fuck you, Chicago. That's terrible. Don't do that ever again. Oh, God. All right. That might have ruined my whole day now. Good Christ. All right. I'm not overreacting. I'm sorry. I really don't think I am. All right. Well, let's wrap this one up. Look at that chicken sandwich. I wish I had that right now. That's the chicken, that's the pork sandwich Emily was talking about from one of the places. That looks fantastic. Chicago, you got your hot dogs. Your hot dogs are delicious, and you've done well with them. The Italian beef is really your peak specialty, but this monstrosity of a pastry item that you're calling pizza is simply garbage. There's no question about it. I want to thank my guest, Emily, for joining, telling us all about August Hill Winery and the delicious pet nats that are coming out of Illinois Sparkling Company. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to all the Twitch folk in the chat box chatting it up. No thank you to Vienna for not sending me the hot dogs. Thanks for your hot dog sides that will do no good for not having a hot dog here. That's Illinois. I mean, it's a big state. There's a lot more to cover, but we can only do so much. And, trying to keep the show under 3 hours. Jesus Christ. It's a long show. And trying to keep it tight. So this one we're going to keep a little bit more tight. Let's pull up next week. This is week 13, Illinois. We're going to call it in the bag. Let's see the old schedule here. Week 14, Indiana. Then Iowa, then Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland. That's a good run down there once we get to the M's. The I's, I don't know. Real I. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody, for joining. That was fun. Chicago, you're a great city. Illinois seems like you're a great state. I would love to go check out all of these tiny little towns outside of Chicago. I'm going to book me a flight to Chicago, hang out, eat some of the best hot dogs and some of the best Italian beef sandwiches there are. We definitely will not be consuming any Malort, but we'll definitely be eating beef because Chicago's the beef city. There's no question about it. Illinois, you're great. We'll see you next week, everybody. Thanks for joining. See ya.